It's 2 a.m. You have to be up at 7. You've been lying in bed for 2 hours. Your body is exhausted. You can feel how tired you are. But your brain? Your brain just remembered that one embarrassing thing you said at a party in 2014. And now it wants to replay it. In HD. With commentary. So you pick up your phone. Just 5 minutes. 45 minutes later, you're watching a documentary about deep-sea creatures and somehow also shopping for a dehydrator you will never use. If that felt uncomfortably specific, this video is for you. Because this isn't laziness. This isn't bad habits. This is your ADHD brain. And tonight, we're going to talk about exactly why it does this. And more importantly, what you can actually do about it. Stay with me. This one might genuinely change your nights. Your brain is wired differently at night. Here's something most people don't know, and honestly, most doctors don't tell you either. ADHD isn't just a focus problem. It's a regulation problem. Your brain has a harder time regulating attention, emotions, impulses, and yes, sleep. Research shows that up to 70% of people with ADHD have something called delayed sleep phase syndrome. That's a fancy way of saying your internal clock, your circadian rhythm, runs about 1.5 to 2 hours later than the average person's. So when the rest of the world starts feeling sleepy at 10 p.m., your brain is just warming up. That second wind you get at night? That's not you being weird. That's your biology. And here's the cruel part. Society runs on neurotypical schedules. School at 8 a.m., work at 9 a.m., and you're expected to just conform. Which means most people with ADHD are walking around in a state of chronic sleep deprivation every single day. But the circadian rhythm thing is only part of the problem. The real villain? Your brain won't shut up. The other reason ADHD brains can't sleep is something researchers call hyperarousal. Think about what happens when you finally lie down. The distractions disappear. The TV is off. Your phone is probably still in your hand, but theoretically it could be off. And with nothing external to grab your attention, your brain turns inward. And what's inside? Everything. Every unfinished task, every conversation you replayed wrong, every idea you had at 11 p.m. that feels absolutely brilliant and must be written down immediately or it will be lost forever. Every worry, every plan, every random thought about whether birds can taste spicy food. They can't, by the way. They don't have the receptors. This is called rumination, and ADHD brains are incredibly prone to it. The same brain that can't focus during the day suddenly becomes hyper-focused on everything it avoided at midnight, when there is nothing you can do about any of it. It's maddening, and it makes falling asleep feel less like drifting off and more like trying to quiet a room full of people who are all talking at once. Dopamine is running the show. Now let's talk about why you're still scrolling at 1 a.m. even though you know you should sleep. It comes down to dopamine. ADHD brains are dopamine deficient. Not in the dramatic, clinical emergency sense, but in a day-to-day way that means your brain is constantly searching for stimulation, novelty, reward. During the day, you have tasks, conversations, chaos, things that provide little dopamine hits. But at night, it gets quiet. And a quiet environment for an ADHD brain is almost uncomfortable. So your brain starts seeking. And what's the easiest, most accessible source of dopamine at 11 p.m.? Your phone, social media, YouTube, one more episode, a Reddit rabbit hole that somehow ends with you reading about the history of medieval siege weapons. The problem is, every scroll, every video, every notification gives your brain just enough dopamine to say, "Don't stop." And before you know it, 2 hours are gone, your eyes are burning, and tomorrow is going to be rough. This is called bedtime procrastination, and it's not a character flaw. It's your brain doing exactly what it's wired to do, chasing stimulation because the alternative, lying there with your thoughts, is somehow worse. What this does to you over time. Let's be real for a second. Chronic sleep deprivation with ADHD isn't just about feeling tired, it creates a devastating cycle. When you don't sleep enough, your ADHD symptoms get worse. Your focus drops, your emotional regulation tanks, small things feel catastrophic, and patience becomes nearly impossible. Your working memory suffers, which means you forget even more than usual. You reach for caffeine, which then makes it harder to sleep the next night, and the cycle tightens. There's also the emotional weight of it, the shame of knowing you should be asleep, the anxiety of watching the clock, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., doing the mental math on how many hours you have left, the dread of the next day before it's even begun. If you felt that, you're not broken. You're dealing with a nervous system that wasn't designed for modern sleep schedules, and no one gave you the manual. So let's fix it. The fixes that actually work for ADHD brains. I want to be clear, standard sleep advice, the stuff about warm milk and counting sheep, it was not written for you. So we're skipping that. Here's what actually works for ADHD brains specifically. Give your brain a dopamine wind down, not a cold stop. The biggest mistake ADHD people make is trying to go from full speed to 0 instantly. It doesn't work. Your nervous system needs a ramp down, not a hard stop. About an hour before bed, switch to low stimulation activities that still give your brain something, but something calm. Audiobooks, lo-fi music, a puzzle, sketching, folding laundry while listening to a podcast. The goal is to gently lower the stimulation, not eliminate it suddenly. You're easing your brain out of drive, not slamming on the brakes. The brain dump, your most powerful tool. Remember all those thoughts that flood in when you lie down? Get ahead of them. Keep a notebook next to your bed, or use your phone's notes app if paper isn't your thing. Before you try to sleep, spend 5 to 10 minutes doing a brain dump. Write down everything that's in your head. Tasks, worries, ideas, random thoughts. Get it all out. This works because your brain holds on to unfinished things. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Once something is written down, your brain can let it go because it knows it's been captured. It's like telling an anxious part of your mind, "I've got it, you can rest now." This single habit has genuinely transformed sleep for a lot of people with ADHD. Give it 2 weeks. Stop fighting your clock. Work with it when you can. If you have any control over your schedule, lean into your natural rhythm. If your brain doesn't wind down until midnight, don't try to force a 10 p.m. bedtime. You'll just lie there frustrated. Set a bedtime that's realistic for your brain, even if it's later than you think it should be. And protect your wake time more than your bedtime. Consistency in when you wake up, even on weekends, is what anchors your circadian rhythm over time. Yes, even on weekends. I know, I'm sorry. Create a transition ritual, not a bedtime routine. The word routine makes a lot of ADHD brains immediately want to rebel. So instead, think of it as a transition ritual, a sequence of small, sensory cues that tell your nervous system, we're switching modes. It doesn't have to be complicated. It could be, make tea, dim the lights, put on a specific playlist, do your brain dump, and lie down. The same sequence every night. Over time, your brain starts associating those cues with sleep, and it becomes easier to shift gears. The key is sensory cues, things you hear, smell, or feel. A particular scent, a weighted blanket, a specific lamp. These bypass the thinking brain and speak directly to your nervous system. Melatonin, but use it right. A lot of people with ADHD take melatonin and think it didn't work. That's usually because they're taking it wrong. Melatonin isn't a sleeping pill, it's a timing signal. It tells your brain it's dark and time to shift towards sleep. For ADHD brains with delayed circadian rhythms, taking a low dose, 0.5 to 1 milligram, not the 10 milligram gummies that are everywhere, about 90 minutes before your target bedtime can actually help shift your clock forward over time. Talk to your doctor, obviously, but if you've tried melatonin and felt nothing, it's worth looking at the dose and timing. Medication timing matters more than you think. If you take stimulant medication for ADHD, when you take it has a huge impact on sleep. Stimulants taken too late in the day are a massive contributor to ADHD sleep problems. If you're struggling to fall asleep and you take medication, talk to your doctor about timing. Even shifting your dose an hour or two earlier can make a significant difference. This is one of the most underrated adjustments in ADHD sleep management. The mindset shift that changes everything. Here's the last thing I want to leave you with, and this might be the most important part. Stop trying to sleep like a neurotypical person. The advice you were given, just go to bed earlier, put your phone away, stop overthinking, was written for a different kind of brain. And every time you fail to follow it, you probably feel a little worse about yourself, a little more broken. But you're not broken. You have a brain with a different operating system. And when you start working with that operating system instead of fighting it, things actually start to shift. You're not going to fix this overnight, and honestly, that's okay. Start with one thing: the brain dump, the wind down swap, the consistent wake time. Just one thing for 2 weeks. Sleep is not a luxury for ADHD brains. It's medication. It's the foundation that everything else, your focus, your mood, your relationships, your sense of self, is built on. You deserve good sleep, and now you have a real roadmap to get there. If this video helped you, share it with someone who stays up too late for all the wrong reasons. And if you want more content made specifically for ADHD brains, subscribe, because there's a lot more where this came from. Good night. Or, if you're watching this at 2 a.m., good luck. You've got this.